founder of Teach the Geek. It's an online platform for STEM professionals. The first offering of the platform is a public speaking course called Teach the Geek to Speak. To learn more about the course, please go to teachthegeek.com. Again, that is teachthegeek.com. You know, every time I do one of these Facebook live videos, my head never seems to be level. It always seems to be off, like off to one side. It's so weird. I always try to adjust it, but it never seems to be right. And not only that, but it always looks like I'm not looking directly at the camera or just looking directly at people. My eyes always seem to be looking elsewhere, and I've been trying so hard to look at least to make it look like I'm looking at people, but it just doesn't seem to work out that way. But hopefully the message is being communicated well. So the fact that my eye contact maybe isn't the best is something you all can overlook. I hope. Well, today's Tuesday, so it's Teach the Geek Tuesday. And when I thought about what I wanted to talk about today, I thought about feedback. And at least with anything, and not just public speaking, we get better at things if we get feedback from others. And one of the ways that I suggest getting feedback for public speaking is to actually ask people after the fact or after your speech, how you did. In a workplace setting, this is actually pretty easy since you you'll see these people again, day after day since they're your coworkers. And whenever it comes to whenever I ask a favor from anybody, I'm always thinking I want it to be as painless as possible. Basically, I want them to be able to fulfill the favor easily. I don't want it to be too burdensome to them, to the people I'm asking the favor of. And so when it comes to asking for feedback, you can ask, certain questions and then have them answer the questions with a couple sentences or maybe a few sentences, but not just go up to them and say, "Oh, how did I do?" and then expect them to then come up with stuff to say. But if you actually ask them specific questions, well, then now they actually have something to work from to provide answers to. So a question that you could ask in regards to feedback is, was the call to action clear? And if so, what was it? What was it to you? So if your presentation included a call to action, basically asking the audience to do something, was that clearly communicated? And if not, how could it have been better communicated? That's one example of a question you can ask. And obviously the questions are going to differ based on the presentation that you gave. So for instance, maybe there wasn't a call to action for your presentation. Maybe you were just disseminating information and that's it. And that was it. So if there was no call to action, obviously you're not going to ask a question about call to action. Or another question you could ask is, what improvements can I make for the next speech? And that again will get people thinking, okay, they can maybe list a couple of things that you could improve on for the next one. Well, and one other thing I want to say about feedback though is when it comes to feedback, as I said, it's important to get better with getting feedback from others, but don't feel compelled to take all the feedback that you get because some of it can be contradictory. Some people might say, "Oh, you spoke, you could perhaps speak a little more slowly." Some people might say, "Well, you could speed up a bit." You kind of spoke as I said, some people can say you spoke too quickly. Some people can say you spoke too slowly. Well, then who do you listen to? Well, then you kind of have to make a judgment call there. But just take it all in, though. Don't just discard it. Take it all in and then see what works for you. But as I said, especially specifically in a workplace setting, if you were just to send an email to select people that were in the audience for your presentation and ask them, not too many questions because they have their own work to do, but just a few questions, maybe 5, 6 at most, and ask them for their feedback. I think it'd be really helpful. And not only that, but if people see you doing that, then maybe they'll do it for their own presentations too, because they'll see the benefit of getting feedback from others because you're seeking it out from them. Just some food for thought there. But try it out and see, and let me know how it goes. And I think there really is no downside to asking people for that favor. because it'll only get you, it'll only make you better. Getting feedback, just not just necessarily in public speaking, but in any endeavor that you partake in. Again, my name is Neil Thompson, with the head that's not exactly straight, kind of swivel. I feel like our head's on swivel now. One of these days, maybe I got to do neck exercises or something. I don't know. Anyway, I'm the founder of Teach the Geek. It's an online platform for STEM professionals. The first offering of the platform is a public speaking course called Teach the Geek to Speak. To learn more about the course, please go to teachthegeek.com. Again, that is teachthegeek.com. Until next time, please take care.